Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Weekly Shonen Jump's Fairy Tale Review. I'm Fonzy.
And I'm Hero.
And boy, are we done with the Giants now, aren't we?
Yep.
However, before the Giants end, gotta say that my previous predictions on Atlas giving us some information based on Igneel or how the dragons disappeared, unfortunately, is not available. However, he does in fact have some information about Igneel himself.
And then he tried to fight off END.
Which is a spell in the book of Zareth, which it seems that Igneel lost to. Not sure if it killed him or whatever it did, but Igneel's no longer here. So we get that little bit of information, and after that, Krona asks desperately for the Guardian, being Atlas, to give the Flame of Life back to the City of Giants. Which in turn he does, however, he does it at the cost of his life.
Aww.
Which is sad, because Atlas was the only dragon we knew of that was alive, per se, but...
I may accept that, Agnologia is still around, too.
Well, a helpful dragon, then. Not the dragon that just wants to blow off your head.
And just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. In any case, that all the giants are now unfrozen and everything will be returning back to normal. However, at the end, we have something special. We find out the person responsible for the freezing of the village
is Absolute Zero Silver.
And who is this person? Well, from what we can tell, that Atlas told us that the man was able to freeze the entire village on his own.
And the reason why he froze it is because he wanted to kill Atlas. Why did he want to kill Atlas? Because he thought he was a demon, and Silver is a new kind of Slayer magic called Demon Slayer magic.
Yeah, enough to freeze an entire village of souped-up giants, including a all-fire dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So, we then get this character a cameo shot, just like how we did for the Orcheon Cessus Cobra. Or, I'm sorry, Orasiansis.
We're going by the anime.
Yeah, but the Rave Master anime had the same name, calling it the Orcheon Sace.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because I never read the manga, so.
Well, watch the manga, the very short-lived anime. Anyways, the whole point of this one is that he is actually a member of the infamous Tartarus. So yes, the introduction of the final Barham Alliance Dark Guild, and its first member is a demon slayer capable of freezing an entire village and a dragon. Yeah.
Now my question is that you remember when Gray unfroze?
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of say something? Is that what this is magic from a demon slaying?
Well, it did in fact defeat Deliora when used it.
And it kind of makes me question, I wonder if they're somehow related.
That could be. I mean, being as though that, like I said before.
Maybe that is, I'm guessing, either her brother or maybe her lost husband.
Well, being that Ur's child was in fact, Ultir, and being that we have no idea of the father, and that might be the fact, but this guy seems like more like a middle-aged person, and do remember that 7 years have passed, so that's still...
Maybe they were young when they, I don't know. It's magic. I don't have to explain it.
Well, sooner or later we'll have to explain it because, in fact, it seems that Absolute Zero, or I'm sorry, Silver. I'm sorry, but saying that whole name actually sounds kind of badass. Absolute Zero, Silver.
And speaking of Absolute Zero, say the card.
Absolute Elemental Hero, Absolute Zero.
Aha! Was he even have to look up outfit. The cape and the armor.
Well, ice is a very sharp-looking type of element. In any case, he is actually being summoned by a member of the United Barm Alliance and is asking for him and the rest of Tartarus to meet up at a certain point. Which means that right now, Tartarus, one of Tartarus's main members, is this powerful. So I wonder how many more people are in this group.
Yeah.
And also being that Succubus Eye is a faction of Tartarus makes it all the more difficult.
Yeah.
So already we're set up for another adventure type. And just gotta say, I like how we're not stuck in the Giant's Village forever and that we're going to another location now.
Well, probably in the next chapter, they'll be saying their goodbyes and...
Yeah, but I'm just glad that they're moving locations because it seems that with the...
I can imagine the giants go, "Oh, look, more little people. Can we eat them?"
Lucy, I hear she's hot stuff. Oh, I should be arrested for that. Anyways, I just like how that the chemistry of Fairy Tale's locations always put you in one spot. Like during the tournament, Tenryobito Island, Orashion Seis, Edalos, they were always just in one location. But this time it seems like they're going to be moving in and out of the areas.
And I have a theory that maybe Flare is going to join with them.
Well, I'm not sure because I'm wondering what guild that mark of hers was.
No, that was her... Oh, no, that was a mark of her village.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I tend to forget the marks of particular people because, I mean, sometimes when you see a person...
the one on her chest is a symbol of her village. I don't think she's part of a guild.
Well, maybe she'll join one of the other rescinding guilds like Lamia Scale Mermaid Heel.
Or maybe she could join one of the fairy tale groups. Kind of like what Gagio. When he's sometimes with Levy.
Well, they weren't a faction. Well, they I know what you're talking about. The team was called Shadow Gear, and it was Jet, Dory, and Levy.
Yeah. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, they were pretty much considered that one group only just because Dory and Jet had a crush on Levy. But they were called Shadow Gear. They were kind of like the group that stuck together. Kind of like how it is with Natsu, Urza, Lucy, and Gray. Yeah. That was pretty much it. And, like the other members would end up being like Gagio and then Wendy. Maybe, but you know what? I would actually like to see her in another guild, kind of having like that rival complex with Lucy, just like how everybody has a rival complex with Lucy, even though she's like
all the other girls are like envy her.
I have no idea why. Why not envy Urza? She's the powerhouse.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for.
Oh, because she's too scary.
Oh yeah, too scary. Anyways, guys, that was it for the Fairy Tale review. We'll see you next time for the next chapter of Fairy Tale. This has been Fonzy.
And this is Hero.
And we're signing off.